This is the BBQ Central Show Archives. The BBQ Central Show airs live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and is brought to you by the BBQ Guru, makers of automatic temperature control devices, and a host of other products that make your barbecue and grilling life easier. Visit them online at thebbqguru.com or call them 800-288-GURU. And by Big Poppa Smokers, creators of fabulous rubs, online retailer of grills, accessories, apparel, and creators of their own barbecue contests. Visit them online at bigpoppasmokers.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, creators of injections and rubs, sweeping the nation, doing well in competitions and in the backyard. You can visit them at butcherbbq.com. And by Stephen DiFranco Jewelers, official jeweler of the Barbecue Central Show. Call 440-943-2700 and use key term Barbecue Brother when you talk to Steve, or visit them online at StephenDiFranco.com. And by Green Mountain Grills, one of the best pellet grills you can get on the market today, varying sizes, not only for your capacity of cooking, but for your budget as well. Visit greenmountaingrills.com for more information. And by El Diablo Mustard. Looking for a little bit of heat and flavor in regular old yellow mustard? El Diablo has you covered. 6 different flavors to choose from currently, and you can find them at eldiablomustard.com. And by CookinPellets.com. Have a pellet-driven cooker? Why not try out some of the best pellets on the market and will not void any of your warranties, by the way? CookinPellets.com is the website. And by Cookshack, a premier manufacturer of electric and pellet-driven cookers, giving barbecue classes located in Ponca City, Oklahoma. Always running some kind of a special deal. Check them out at Cookshack.com.
This is Chris Payne from Euclid, Ohio, and you are listening to Barbecue Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central Show. Oh, yes, yeah. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. A phone call away, 216-220-0966. You can also email the show if you would care to. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the email address. Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening, in case you didn't get the newsletter, coming up in about, 13 minutes from now. It's a second Tuesday of a month. And aside from last month... You know what that brings. The creator of the most heavily trafficked barbecue and grilling website on the face of the earth, Meathead Goldwyn, will be joining us. You know, if you didn't realize what kind of date on the calendar it is, the 14th, we're halfway to Thanksgiving. Oh my God, the holiday that strikes fear and demise on the hearts of many, hoping not to F up the turkey, because we know in the very end, no matter how many great poo-poos that you make during the course of the day, succulent side dishes, other such revelry, in the end, it's going to come down to the turkey, and you better not fuck it up. No! What are they going to talk about for the rest of the year? Remember when we were at Bernie's house? Oh, the Jack Daniels was flowing like wine. The chicken vittles were good. But he screwed up the damn turkey. I'm never going back. No, I'm never going back. I'm never going to do it. How could you screw up that turkey? This is what we live for. Thanksgiving. I love it. Where the turkey at? Forget the turkey. You screwed it up. I hate your guts. We are not friends. Meathead is going to help us make sure that the turkey is succulent and fine fashion because, well, it's his only appearance during the course of the month, ladies and gentlemen, so we can't do this. Is as close as we're going to get with Meathead. We'll have many turkey experts on tap over the next few shows before the big day hits, just to make sure you are on your turkey game for this year, because we don't want it to be the same old mess, the conundrums and so forth. So enjoy Meathead for 2 segments coming up in about 11 minutes from now, and then we'll move to the second hour, and we will find a barbecue pitmaster, championship award winning, a entrepreneur when it comes to barbecue in the form of a actual store, brick and mortar to be exact, probably online at this point. He is a barbecue host of his own show that precedes this show, merely the last 2 hours in specific. You know him, you love him, and if you don't, you call him Chad Levon Ward. Chad Ward of Whiskey Bent BBQ will be joining us around 10:14, and he may or may not pull a second segment, depending on how the conversation goes. If not, it is the start of the holiday season, so we might play a little porn star or athlete or cheese or font or winery or rehab and give away some prize. I mean, I got a lot of brisket rub in the prize closet. I got some barbecue hooks that I haven't given to Jeff Eltzer. I swear, Jeff, it's coming for Christmas. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. It's coming. I swear. You won. I won't forget it. I might forget to ship your stuff, but I won't forget that you won. I can tell you that. He's been very gracious about it. Jeff, I swear, by the end of 2014, you could be +1 on the barbecue hooks. I swear.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Come on, Sweet Brown. Everybody's got time for that. All right, quick notes that I would like to mention. If you are watching the show right now through the smartphones, the smart tablets, the netbooks, the computers, send them to the OutdoorCookingChannel.com, because obviously you like the video side of things. If you don't like video, who's to blame you? You can listen to these golden tones through the succulent broadcasting waves of the internet on only the audio stream, which you can find at the BBQCentralShow.com. By the way, I don't know how it works because it's been through a number of updates. This iTunes, like on your desktop computer or maybe on your laptop. But if you go into iTunes Radio and then you go into, I believe it's News and Talk, listed alphabetically, in the B's, right near the front, you'll find Barbecue Central Radio. You can actually stream the show live on iTunes Radio Tuesdays, 9 to 11, as we're doing right now. And you can also stay right there on your iTunes when it's not the show, which is basically every other hour of the day that isn't between Tuesdays from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. Or as we say in the avionics industry, 2100 to 2200 hours. No, that's not. 21. Oh. 9 to 11. 21 to 2300 hours. Sorry. Slow on the math, ladies and gentlemen.
Get that free stuff out of here.
I'm not a math genius, as you could just tell by addition. 21 to 2300 hours. You never have to leave the iTunes for Barbecue Central Radio Network audio stream. You can get it on the main website, of course. If you have Internet Protocol television, you have something like a Roku or a Rabbit TV or something like that, search those specific app stores in those devices, and you can find Outdoor Cooking Channel and download that application, and then you have the freedom to choose to watch the stream right from any high-definition television that you have or that you have IP television hooked up to. You can also visit OutdoorCookingChannel.com for replays of the show, because as much as I love the live listenership of the show, and believe me, I love them the most, 97% of the people consume the show, as we say, on demand through podcast only or through video or vlogging or video posts or whatever you call it. Because you can see here on the, if you're watching right here on the lower third, there's a YouTube page. You can get video replays through the YouTube page. Of course, you can get them through OutdoorCookingChannel.com, the main syndication video partner of this show. You can also get all of the replays all of the time, always on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. That's right. I'm not going to lie. You can do it. You can do it. So there's really never a reason that you should ever miss anything about this show, ever. But don't let anybody tell you any different, for crying out loud. All right, folks, if you are looking at hot food eating contests, might I draw your attention to Zest Fest? That's right. Zest Fest out at 2015, January 23rd through the 25th, Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas, Irving, Texas. There is a fiery food eating challenge. That is coming up November 15th, so you have roughly about a week. Well, not even a week. You have roughly about a day to get into it. Hi, I love the math you have issues with.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Fiery food challenge entry deadline. Early entry discount extended until November 15th. Oh my God, pucker butt to host pepper eating contest. You heard me, pucker butt. Pucker butt? You could not have a better host for a hot pepper eating contest. Smokin' Ed Curry, founder, president, mad scientist, and chef of Pucker Butt Pepper Company, was born and raised in New York, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Smokin' Ed found that indigenous populations from around the world who eat hot peppers with meals have extremely small instances of many diseases, prompting his focus on peppers as a delicious and healthy food staple. The Pucker Butt Pepper Company is a grower, harvester, and producer of great-tasting, all-natural pepper products, including hot sauces, salsas, seeds, plants, mustards, jellies, seasonings, and snacks. So there you go. You think you can enter in the old hot pepper eating contest? You want to eat hot peppers until your face falls off, or consequently the next day your a-hole blows out? Might be for you. Zest Fest is the place to go if you want to get in on that. I'm going to pass myself. Also, on accident, I just marked that as spam. Sorry. Sorry, Zest Fest. I'm not going to be eating hot peppers for any type of fun or frivolity. I am going to tell you about Butcher's Barbecue. That's right, Dave Bosca, the great folks over at Butcher's Barbecue, helping you raise your barbecue and grilling game up 5 to 10 notches. Easily 5 to 10 notches. They're doing that by offering you products that you really can't get anywhere else. How about injections to serve any and all? That's right, any and all levels of pitmasterdom, people that you find in the backyard, all that stuff. Don't worry about it. You can find it at butcherbbq.com. You have the pork injection, the beef injection, the prime injection, the bird booster, the open pit pork injection, which is the latest and greatest cage flavor, selling like the proverbial hotcakes. You long for the old taste of the flavor of the open pit pork? Forget it. No need to long anymore. Visit butcherbbq.com. Buy 7 or 10 bags of it. You'll be happy that you did. You can inject it in pork. You can inject it in chicken, in beef. Go crazy with it. Just because it says open pit pork injection doesn't mean you have to try it on just one thing, like pork. Forget it. You try it on whatever you want. Now, maybe you're looking for go-to rubs or sauces. You've also hit the mother load here as well. Aside from the injections, Butcher's Barbecue, known for the full line of award-winning rubs and sauces. I love the steak and brisket rub. I love the honey rub, which I buy by the 5-pound bag. You know, a couple years ago, that rub was like hot on the internet. People were reviewing it, giving it the highest marks. Of course, Dave Bosca from Butcher Barbecue, using it in his own competitions, of course. Championship award-winning pitmaster Dave Bosca. So this stuff is tried and true. This isn't some guy who's looking to make a buck on you schmucks because he thinks he can get over on you. He's using it in the competitions that cost him hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every weekend to compete in. And he's winning a lot. He does very well a lot. Maybe you should consider it. Last but not least, let me tell you about the sauce, the sweet barbecue sauce. is a winner in every category for me. No liquid smoke, which means the most to me. Not taking the easy way out like a lot of these people did when they make those sauces just to get them up on the shelves. Forget it. They've separated himself from the other sauces, hasn't taken the easy way out. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to find out that you put a lot of effort into that, and you will appreciate it. By 6, it will go fast. ButcherBBQ.com, the website. Stock up now, ButcherBBQ.com. Butcher's Barbecue. Always trust your butcher. We're back with Meathead right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back to 1-6-220-0966. Greg at the BBQ Central Show.com is the email address, should you see fit. You want to jump in on the show tonight, I'm more than happy to take your questions, calls, emails, so on and so forth. My next guest, you may have heard of him before, once or twice. Only creating the most popular, heavily trafficked, award-garnering website on the face of the earth. We head over to the second Tuesday of every month. Guest Meathead Goldwyn joining us here on the show. Meathead! What's up, buddy?
Hey, Greg, how's the Cleveland Cavalier of barbecue doing?
Well, as you may or may not know, while we trounced... Oh, wait. No, we didn't. Well, we're getting used to ourselves here on the Barbecue Central Show. That's what I can tell you. Rome wasn't built in a day, Meathead, and neither was the Barbecue Central Show.
Yeah, well...
Watch out.
You are still my cavalier.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Meathead. Meathead Goldwyn, of course, from AmazingRibs.com. You can find out a plethora of information there, pretty much on every barbecue and grilling topic that you would care to know on. Meathead, just for the people that don't know, or maybe just kind of joining the show for the first time and aren't familiar with AmazingRibs.com, what kind of traffic are you seeing? You know, I introduce you as heavily trafficked and most popular. But put some quantification to that indoctrination.
It's, I'm the internet dream. I'm a barbecue, a food and drink guy who started a little teeny website.
Why did you start it? Like, why would you start that website?
It's a good story. My neighbor was bragging on how good his ribs were one day. And, of course, I had to brag on how good mine were. And so it turned into a throwdown. Now, we're going back to 2005. And it turned into a throwdown, and we're just going to have our wives judge. And, I had an old Brinkman smoker, one of the bullet smokers. Yeah. And, I decided, well, I'm not just going to rust on my laurels. I'm going to research how to make great ribs and make sure I whoop his butt. And I couldn't find anything useful on the internet. I searched Amazon and the libraries. Can you believe only 10 years ago, there were almost no good books on barbecue. There are one or two little things floating around out there. Yeah. Sublime Smoke was
Smoke
one.
And
Steve
Spice.
Raiklen had one. But there was almost nothing. I mean, I'm looking at a bookshelf now that must have 150 books on it, wow, all related to barbecue.
Oh, it's dominated anymore.
Unbelievable what's happened. And I thought, well, gee, this is an open space. Why not start a little hobby site? And it was ribs only at first, and then it grew to all forms of barbecue and then grilling. And today, Ryan, I have a chef that works with me now 5 days a week. Ryan, Cordon Bleu trained chef. Ryan and I were out back. It was a lovely day with our cast iron Dutch oven, cooking pork shoulder in green chili sauce. Yesterday we did classic chili with a cornbread topping in this. On charcoal outdoors in the dirt, like you would do cowboy cooking or campfire cooking. Yep. And we're going to add campfire cooking. In fact, you want to know something? Greg, do you like fried chicken?
There's a bear shit in the woods?
Oh, God. Do you make fried chicken?
No.
Why not?
I don't. I just don't.
Yeah. Well,
it's too hard. It's messy. I don't want to do it. You've dragged it out of me. God damn it.
It's a big mess, and it fills the kitchen with smoke, and it spatters all over the place. Well, golly, guess what? I had this epiphany about a month ago. I got this cast iron Dutch oven, took it out to my gas grill, turned one side on high and the other side off, put the cast iron pot on high, put about a half-inch oil in there, took it up to 350 degrees, took a piece of chicken, ran it through some flour and threw it in there, and I saw God. And I didn't care if it spattered. I didn't care if it smoked. I was outside on my grill, and I tested the meat, and if it wasn't quite done with my thermometer, I took it out of the oil, put it on the indirect side of the grill, closed the lid.
Whoa! Watch out! Smoked roasted fried chicken.
It's a barbecue dish.
Watch out.
It's just a natural to cook on your grill.
Yeah.
It was just, and so we did Nashville style. We marinated it in
Nashville style.
Pickle juice. We marinated it in hot sauce.
What?
We did buttermilk. Hey, I'm here to tell you, I just don't get buttermilk soaked chicken. I've tried it half a dozen times. It cooks way too fast, even at low boiling frying temperatures. It burns. I don't see that it tenderizes it in any way. Just roll the stuff in flour. If you want to do an egg wash and then flour or milk wash, and then fine. It's just not necessary. Just take yourself some chicken, roll it around in some flour, get about a half inch. You don't want to submerge. You don't want to deep fry the chicken. Just about a half inch of oil. Use any kind of vegetable oil or olive oil, and
olive oil
up to about 350.
Use olive oil to fry chicken.
Pardon?
Use olive oil to fry chicken?
Sure. I wouldn't use a really good, expensive extra virgin, but, you get a cheap olive oil. It's a vegetable oil. It doesn't have a strong flavor, the cheap stuff at least. And it's wonderful. It's just absolutely, it's as good as anything you'll get in any restaurant. You got to turn it over when one side is done. You got to kind of keep an eye. But if you do it on your grill, who cares if it smokes up the room and spatters all over the place? And you're in the great outdoors. What fun. I've been having so much fun. But you asked about traffic to the website.
Yep.
We set a new record again, as we always do in the summer. 4 million page views in June and July. And
wow.
More than 1 million. Now, each month, June and July.
Yeah.
4 million page views per month. 1 million visitors per month. 1 million visitors per month through the summer. Now we've tapered off. We're down about
Unique visitors? Unique visitors?
Yeah, uniques.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I got the ComScore data for July today. And if you throw out the big multi-website networks, like Huffington Post has several several cooking websites, and Federated Media represents a bunch of them. If you throw out all the multi-site places, we're in the top 20. We're ahead of Rachel Ray and all the TV chefs. It's just, it just started out as a hobby. It's just so much fun. It can be done. It's a dream come true. Not everybody can pull this off because we were very lucky.
Yep.
We picked a topic that was popular. Barbecue's really hot now, and it shows no sign of abating. I wish I could screen share my chart of page views. Is really impressive, but it's just golly, what fun! I come downstairs in I'm wearing sweatpants right now. That's what I would come to work in, sweatpants and raggedy old shirts. And
there it is.
Ryan comes in and we sit around and brainstorm and come up with new recipes. Just the funnest thing on earth.
Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com, the website. Check it out if you've never seen it, and you're probably one of the 5 or 6 people that have never seen it. All right, Meathead. So tonight's topic is, let's say, turkey-related. It's the second Tuesday of every month, of course. So we're going to find you, but that means we're not going to find you closer to Thanksgiving. This is the month where people immediately start to bite fingernails, get nervous, start kvetching, because here's all of a sudden it's like, okay, this is going to sound weird, but I remember in February, Deputy Corey was guest hosting with me. And I said something about 2014 rapidly coming to a close. In February, guess what? 2014 rapidly coming to a close. I hate to say it. I mean, we are in the last week of the first week of November. We're going to be out of 2014 before you know it. So this is the holiday unlike any other.
Yeah, well, before
truly
we get
American.
into cooking, I want to rhapsodize philosophic, and I touched on this very briefly last year, but I just cannot help but getting on my my soapbox just a little bit here. Thanksgiving is, I think, the best of all the holidays because we all share it. We're a deeply divided nation. We have multiple religions. We follow different faiths. Politically, we are divided almost down the middle. And the political divide is bitter and strong.
Yes.
But one day a year, we all sit down. The statistics tell us more than 80% of us eat turkey on Thanksgiving. 80 is divided with multiple languages, nationalities, origins, religions, politics.
Sexual preferences. What?
We sit down together and we have almost the same meal. Turkey, stuffing, cranberries. And it's a ritual that we all share. And it's centered around food. It's centered around what we love. And we feed each other. It's the most intimate thing to feed somebody. It's every bit as intimate as sex. I mean, it's just... what more can you do for a friend or a family or a loved one than feed them? And we just share this universal holiday. It's really older than Independence Day. It's been around for now, it was established as a holiday in 1863, but it's been celebrated since the Pilgrims and longer than Independence Day. And I just love this quote from William Jennings Bryan. He said, on Thanksgiving Day, we acknowledge our dependence, our reliance on each other, our families, our community. And I just think that's a great thought. And that dovetails into the rant I want to do. And I know ranting is really your territory. You'll forgive me.
No, please.
But you know, I hear a lot of talk about a war on Christmas. But I'm here to tell you, the real war is on Thanksgiving. It's a family day. It's a chance for us to all spend together. It's just disgraceful that stores are opening even before the dishes are cleaned now. At 6 o'clock in the evening, we're still sitting around. We're passing out. We're comatose. We're belching. We're drinking wine. Where are the family values advocates? Does Target really care about your family? Does Macy's, Kmart, Sears, JCPenney, all of them are opening Thanksgiving night. Are these people interested in your family? I say they're not. I say they're enemies of your family.
Right.
I say they're enemies of Thanksgiving. Please just don't feed this monster.
Look, this is the one thing that I've been saying, and I appreciate your rant, Meathead. Very good. Well done. What I have said for years, and I believe I've said it on the show at least for the last 2 or 3 years, is that you can go through and you can see all of the major holidays that this great country of ours will celebrate, and in some form or fashion, it has become overly commercialized in every single way. But if you go back and look, I mean, you don't really... When was the last time you saw a Thanksgiving commercial? You haven't seen one leading up to the next... couple weeks. There's no big hubbub. You don't see a lot of stuff out in the stores in advance of Thanksgiving or anything like that. But I think if you go back through and you survey the general public, I think they're right along with you. They think that Thanksgiving is great because, A, it is not overly commercialized. It's not bastardized by big business. It's something that you can share with friends and family. It is something that is consistent from almost home to home to home, which is nice in a certain way. And that they get to spend Christmas, of course, associated with family and a lot of these other things, but really, in its essence, Thanksgiving is the time that you get together with the family. You sit down, you have the meal, and it's the meal. You don't think about Christmas and you think the meal. You think about Christmas and what the fuck am I going to get from everybody because I'm a greedy bastard. Thanksgiving is, let's sit down. We're going to have a great bottle of wine together. We're going to have this great meal. We're going to talk about the old times. We're going to talk about the times to come. And really, I think that's what makes Thanksgiving the greatest, and I agree with you. And more importantly, it has somehow managed to escape the bastardization of commercialization, which I can't believe. How does it miss out?
Yeah, there's no buying. Well, but it is now. I mean, it started with Black Friday and then Cyber.
Yes, but that's not Thanksgiving trying to be commercial.
But
that's Christmas encroaching on Thanksgiving.
On Thursday night.
Yes, but that's Christmas ruining it for everybody again. Damn it. This Christmas. When are we getting rid of Christmas? Forget it. Anyway. All right, so we got Thanksgiving coming up. That obviously means turkey for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And it's always like the most trepidatious meal that anybody is tasked to make because, oh my God, heaven forbid you screw it up. Mm-hmm. You're never going to hear the end of it until possibly the next year when, A, you either voted off the cooking island or you might have a chance to redeem yourself. So let's talk about the turkey and prep and cooking and best ways to give your chance for a successful Thanksgiving this year.
And we may be preaching to the choir because I know a lot of people who watch your show, and I meet them, and they're pretty savvy. But let's just cover some of the core basics.
Yeah.
First of all, the most important thing is turkey is a new breed of bird. It's not resembling wild turkey and the way it used to be 50 years ago. It's bred to be very, very lean in the breasts. And if you overcook those breasts the slightest bit, it's bone dry. So the most important thing you can do is throw out that pop-up thermometer or whatever you want to call it, thermometer, the pop-up gauge that's in the breast, and have a good digital thermometer on hand. I know you and I are both fans of the Thermapen.
Yep.
It's brilliant. It reads accurately, precision within 2 seconds, and it's about $100. And that's a lot of money for a lot of people. They've got a new model out called the Thermopop that is only $25, and it takes 5 seconds to read. If you want a thermometer that you can actually stick in there and leave in there, Maverick makes some good ones. There's some others. We have I think we've talked about it before. I've got a massive database reviewing thermometers, more than 100 thermometer reviews. Start with a good thermometer and just don't overcook your bird. Take it off when the breasts are 160 degrees. USDA says 165 to be safe. But one thing about these temperatures, and we've touched on this in the past, at 165, it takes 7 seconds to kill bacteria. It only takes I think 30 seconds or more at 160. So, I mean, you can pull it off at around 160, maybe even a little bit lower. And because it's a large thermal mass, it holds heat and it continues to press heat down in even if you take it off. So it will rise in temperature, a phenomenon called carryover cooking, and it'll be safe if you take it off at around 160. You don't want to tent it. If you tent it, you're just capturing steam, and you're getting the skin soggy. And part of the great fun of turkey is having crispy skin. So you measure the temperature in the breasts. Don't worry about the thighs and the drumsticks. They're going to be a little overcooked. Well, they're going to be a little hotter. They're going to be 170 to 180, but they're dark meat. They have more fat in it. You can take them up to a higher temp. You can't hurt the drumsticks and thighs. No. They're my favorite parts anyhow. But you won't hurt them if you let them get a little hotter. It's the breasts you absolutely have to watch in the deepest section. Get them off at around 160, and don't mess around. Watch that temperature. 5-10 minutes, and you've overcooked it, and you've got cardboard, and no amount of gravy is going to bring it back.
Yeah, I just asked grandmothers about that.
Yeah.
They've been killing turkeys for years. And again, make sure that if you are, I have not, Meathead, you're going to find this to be outrageous. In the 18 years that I've been having Thanksgiving dinner, not with my parents because they moved to Florida, but I've been doing it up here with my wife's parents. I have not cooked a turkey in that long. No, not for Thanksgiving. No, sir. So I have to.
What do you cook?
I just go over and eat. I don't. I haven't cooked.
Cook.
Yes. So you're dealing with, the other generation and higher temperatures being pressed into their brain and. Oh, it's fine if it looks like it's shredding up. No worries. Juice is bad. We don't like that. So, hopefully, if you're like me and you've been stuck for years, it's not going to be this year because we're going down to see my parents in Florida. Fine. That you could be in a position where you might have to preach or teach your cook that, hey, 160 isn't bad. It doesn't have to be cooked to 180 like that pop-up timer is set to pop out at in the breast. And believe me, that is going to make a world of difference.
A lot of old cookbooks said 170 to 180. USDA officially says 165. And that's a change. And that means the old cookbooks are out of date. And a lot of the old-timers are sticking to that. And if you can convince them that it's too high, 165 is okay by USDA, and maybe get them to pull it out a little earlier and explain carryover cooking to them, you got a better chance. If it's bad, I just eat the stuffing, man. I could eat bread stuffing all night long. I don't care.
Yeah.
I like it better than the dark meat anyhow. I mean, the light meat anyhow. Dark meat I prefer.
Yeah, me too. All right, Meathead, hold on one second. We're going to do a quick read for BBQ Guru. We'll come back. We'll get into more cooking stuff. We'll look at pictures. We'll get into it here a little bit more.
Yeah, because we want to talk about cooking techniques.
That's right. All right, Meathead Goldwyn joining us here on the show, AmazingRibs.com. Let me talk to you quickly about the BBQ Guru, longest-running sponsor of the show. I'm not going to tell you how old the show is, but in February next year, I believe February 7th, we're going to be celebrating a milestone birthday, believe it or not, for the live show. All right, now, maybe you're not familiar with how these little beauties work. I'm not going to get into minute details, but imagine a product that allows you to set your pit temperature. And once set, it keeps it running at that set temperature all the way through the cook. It's not going to be true. It's not. This is real life. You can take advantage of this technology today. Now, maybe you're a busy working professional like me, or perhaps you are constantly on the run with kids, doing errands, and quite frankly, you just don't have the time to set around and tend pit temperatures. I get it. The Guru allows you to throw on a pork butt, a brisket, or a couple slabs of ribs, and you're off to do whatever it is you need to get done, and the Guru maintains that pit temperature you set it at. Currently, a number of different models to choose from. Two of the most popular models, as I mentioned here each and every week, CyberQ Wi-Fi, if you are a geek, and you have internet Wi-Fi all over the place, you have a smartphone, you have a tablet, you have a netbook, whatever you have, as long as you connect to some type of a Wi-Fi, and you have your CyberQ Wi-Fi hooked up to it properly, you don't even have to leave the comfort of your bed anymore at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can pick up your phone. You can see where the pit temperature is at. You can see where the internal temperature of your meats are at. And if you're cooking too hot or too fast, you can make pit temperature adjustments right through the convenience of your phone, and boom, it's done just like that. Now, maybe you don't need that technology. Maybe you just need a little cruise control for that pit. Party Q is the thing you want to take a look at. It's $149 for most cookers. Easiest point of entry for pit temperature control devices. Runs on AA batteries. AA batteries. And it can literally go from this bullet-style smoker to a kettle to a Kamado-style cooker, if you will, or ceramic-style cooker. From one to the other, it's great stuff, and you're not going to be crazy if you decide to use it on multiple cookers. If you're looking for a cooker, Onyx Oven is the thing you need to be aware of. Fully insulated, holds a ton of meat, accommodates half and full pans for food service, works seamlessly with any BBQ Guru pit temperature control device. Now, do yourself a favor. Head on over to thebbqguru.com. Check out all their products. If you have any questions about what to order, call them directly, 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU. And they will make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. BBQ Guru is a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We are back with cooking techniques. Meathead Goldwyn, AmazingRibs.com. It's the Barbecue Central Show right here on the Barbecue Central Network.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Meathead Goldwyn joining us here as he does each and every second Tuesday of the month. All right, Meathead. Let's talk about turkey cooking techniques and things that you think really play a benefit for folks that are looking to win this turkey season.
Well, this year and last year, I have finally broken out of the mold. We have Thanksgiving dinner at my brother-in-law's house, and he does a turkey in the oven, and I do one on the grill or the smoker, one or the other. And the last couple of years, I've finally decided that I'm going to break with tradition, and I'm spatchcocking my turkeys. Spatchcocking is fancy language for butterflying. What you do is you cut the spine out and flatten it out. And Greg, I sent you a picture. The first one I sent you, it's 010.
Here's the one I thought you were talking about, but never mind.
You know, I'm not seeing the video feed live. You're kind of frozen. I'm just going to assume you've got it up.
All right, hold on one second.
Yeah, I mean, you've been frozen since like the first minute of the conversation.
Since we started? You're kidding.
No, I'm not worried about it.
Hold on. We'll start again.
Now I'm looking at your picture, your logo.
Right. Here we go.
There you go. I see my bird.
There you go. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's American as apple pie.
Bird.
Love it.
Now,
my favorite.
It's close enough to a whole turkey that people are not freaked out. I mean, now let's just talk about smart cooking. When there's such a variety of muscles, and we can also apply this to brisket. It's hard to get them all cooked to the right temperature. That breast meat is really thick, low fat. The thighs are thinner. There's a bone running through the center. The drumsticks are not too thick. Bone running through the center. They're dark meat. They're a little juicier. And then the wings, which are very thin, they all cook at a different rate.
Yep.
Ideally, the best method would be to break the bird down into 2 breasts, 2 thighs, 2 drumsticks, and 2 wings. Split them up, season them up, grill them up or smoke them up, gauge the temperature on each of them, remove them at optimum temperature, and serve them at optimum temperature. But there's a huge faction in most of our lives that wants to see that big presentation bird on the table. And if you serve a whole bird the regular way, you face a couple of issues. The heat attacks it from the outside. Now, if you stuff it, you've now made it into like this giant bowling ball.
Yeah.
And the heat takes a long time to get through the meat and then through the stuffing down to the center to where it's a safe temperature. And by the time the center is at safe temperature, 160 to 165, the meat, which is wrapped around it and is far away from the center, is 180, 185, and it's way overcooked. So the first thing you want to do is don't stuff the bird. I know there's a large contingent among parents and grandparents who want to see that stuffing, but cook the stuffing on the side.
This person still stuffs the chicken, Meathead. This person does. My mommy.
Yep.
My mommy still stuffs it. See her? You see, she still stuffs the chicken.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And it's just a recipe for overcooking the meat. Now, a way I've learned to get around it is to turn the stuffing into something fun.
Yep.
I make what I call muffins. And I take the stuffing and make my normal stuffing recipe, but I add a little egg to help it bind a little better. And I get muffin tins, and you grease them up with butter, and you put the stuffing in the muffin tins. Well, what happens then is, and I think, I'm out of sequence here, but I think it's the very last picture. No, it's number. It's just labeled muffing.
Yep.
You got it?
Oh, hold on. I think you're in the way.
There's a way to do screen sharing with this.
I got it.
Skype. And I ought to figure out how to do it to save you the trouble.
I got it.
I know, but you got so many things to juggle now.
Oh, come on. I'm a professional.
Get that big stuff out of here.
All right, you got the muffing up? Because I'm not seeing it, but that's okay.
What do you mean?
Don't worry about me. It's cool. The muffing is crispy on all sides. Everybody gets their own little serving of it. And it's really kind of cool looking. So maybe this will overcome the I've got to have the stuffing in the bird syndrome. But if you can get the stuffing out of the bird, you'll get a more tender, more juicy bird.
Meathead, I don't want to call you out, but I'm looking at this muffing.
Yes.
Are there raisins in that stuffing?
Cranberries, dried cranberries.
All right, I'll let that pass.
No, that's Thanksgiving, man.
Watch out.
That's
I thought
Thanksgiving.
it was.
They're dried
raisins.
Craisins.
Yeah. Love craisins.
But raisins would be good, you
No.
know. But the other thing is spatchcocking is really a good technique, and I think let's see if we can go show them the second picture.
Yep.
No. Third picture, 025.
025. All right, we got it. There it is.
That's the bird spatchcocked
Oh my!
on a Weber kettle.
Looks good.
On a Weber kettle, and the beauty here is you brown both sides. When you have the bird all
That's
balled up in its normal fashion, the inside is pale and undercooked, and it's really hard to get flavor in there. And you can put onions and citrus in there, but it really doesn't penetrate, not like a good spice rub. I like herbs. So you can now put a good spice rub on all sides and brown all sides. And we know brown is the Maillard reaction. Brown is flavor. And when you spatchcock now, you cook much faster. And so it doesn't dry out as much. The longer food is under heat, the more moisture evaporates, the drier it gets. So I like to cook at 325. That's a good temperature for rendering a little of the fat and crisping the skin. It's a little warmer than I normally smoke things. With turkey, I go very, very easy on the smoke. You can oversmoke it easily. Yeah. And I love spatchcocking. This year, I'm going to try to do it boneless. I'm going to spatchcock it and try to get all the bones out. I'll let you know how that turns out. But that should make carving a lot easier. But spatchcocking gets it on all sides. And if you can tell in that picture, underneath the bird is a pan.
Yeah, I see
it's
it.
Got all the heat on one side. And that pan, it's 030, Greg, 030.
All right. I'll get there. Give me 1 second. That's right.
That pan contains the fixings
wow, look at that.
of turkey stock.
Looks great.
That's a bottle of white wine, a little chicken stock. It's celery and carrots and the leaves off the celery stalk, some herbs. It's the neck of the bird. It's trimming of the fat. It's, the tail. It's everything except the liver.
Oh.
Liver will give it a funny flavor. Everything goes in there. And what happens is the bird cooks, you're making turkey stock. And the bird drips in there. It gets a little smoky flavor. And I pull that out just before I do the bird. I strain it. I taste it. I adjust the salt if it needs to. If I want, I can cook it down a little. But I don't add flour. If you add flour, you make it thick. You're making a roux, essentially. And flour is a huge molecule. And it doesn't penetrate meat. So if you do have some dry meat, it won't make it moist. It just sits there like glop on top of it.
Yeah.
But if you leave it thin as a stock, it's full of flavor. It's rich. It's like a soup. It really is a soup. And it actually soaks into the meat, and it gives it fabulous flavor. People love it. And you can make soup from it with leftovers. I almost always have much more than is necessary for Thanksgiving dinner. I bring it home, and I have turkey soup the next night. It's just great. The other thing is whether you're cooking indoors or out, banish the roasting pan. The roasting pan, I don't know who came up with this idea, but if you can show picture 060,
all right, there it is.
It shows what happens. On the left, you see the bird sitting in the roasting pan, and the red arrows are heat trying to get to the bird.
Yep.
And it can't hit the bottom. The bird is sitting above water. The water is cool. The water is evaporating. It's cooling the bottom of the bird. And this way, you always have kind of pale, flabby undersides of the bird.
Who's putting water in the roasting pan?
Oh, if you don't put some sort of water in there or something, it'll burn. The drippings will hit down there and burn. And a lot of people put potatoes or carrots and stuff down in there, and that becomes the basis of the stock.
Got it.
But it'll just drip and burn up if you put it in a roasting pan without a liquid in there. But if you lift it up and sit it on a rack on top of the roasting pan, now the heat can get underneath it, and you can cook it evenly all around. And, of course, the best arrangement is on a grill. Because on a grill, you can get the pan down low, the bird up high. Heat can work on the bird from all sides. Now, that's a whole bird, but if you spatchcock it, you get it the same way. You get heat from all sides. You brown it from all sides. You get maximum flavor, and it cooks evenly and is the most juicy. So wherever you're cooking, get rid of that roasting pan. Or if you're going to use a roasting pan, get the bird well above the liquid, well above the roasting pan. Don't stick it down in the pan.
I would like to say that as far as spatchcocking, there's no bigger proponent of spatchcocking, whether it's chicken, poultry in general. If you think that the whole bird is a good presentation,
yes,
spatchcock it once, take that backbone out, cook it, and then serve a whole spatchcock chicken in front of everybody. And that's going to bring the house down. Not to mention the fact that carving that son of a bitch has now become 978% easier. You can split it in half. You can quarter it. You can easily take the breasts and all the other stuff off. It's the only way to go, in my estimation.
Amen from me, pal. Yeah. And I think the presentation's gorgeous, and it does come close to the impact of the whole bird. And you're absolutely right. Breaking it down and carving it is so much easier. Okay, another thought. If you're going to do the whole bird, not spatchcock it, don't truss it. Don't tie the legs and thighs up like people tell you to do. Oh. That's just pulling it in tighter, and it makes it harder for the heat to circulate around the thighs and legs. They need a little extra time to cook. Let them flop around. You want to put foil over the wings. And by the way, I cut the tips off the wings, and I cut the backbone out when I spatchcock, and they all go in that gravy pan. But you do want to protect the wings. A little aluminum foil when you start for about half the cook. And at 325, a spatchcock bird will be done in an hour and a half, 2 hours max.
Yeah.
If you don't spatchcock it, it could take 3 hours. So you cut down an hour. That's an hour of less moisture evaporating. That's a more tender bird, more juicy bird. The other thing I want to talk about is brining, or injecting, or dry brining. Brining got real popular for a long time, and I was an advocate. I recommended it on my website. You get this big beer cooler, and you fill it with water, and you make a 6% brine solution, and you pour in apple juice and garlic and black pepper, and then you have to keep it cold. And so you get bags of ice, and you put the bags of ice in there. And I think I've got a picture of such a setup, number 040. And what it costs, it's not an effective technique. It takes up a massive amount of space. You've got to keep it cold. And the only thing that really gets into the meat is salt. Now, we've talked about this before. Salt will penetrate meat, and it'll penetrate meat fairly quickly, and it penetrates even more while the food is cooking.
Yep.
But garlic, sugar, apple juice, all those things, the molecules are way too big. They won't get into the meat. They'll get to the surface, and so it's a surface treatment. But if you really want to treat the surface, sprinkle the garlic and pepper on the surface, and now you've got it. I've become a real advocate of what I call dry brining, and dry brining is simply the night before, sprinkle the salt on the bird. And a rough guide is about a half a teaspoon per pound. Just use your eye, no more than you would if you were sitting at the table, maybe a little more because it's thick. Put it on a little thicker in the thick spots. And what happens is the moisture from the bird melts the salt, and then the sodium and chloride ions, they get electrically charged. They get going down into the meat, and you'll get that salt down into the meat. You're not over-salting it. You're not making it too salty. Salt is an amplifier. It's an enhancer of flavor. You're not using too much. Half a teaspoon per pound is not going to make your heart beat too fast. Well, a lot of people who are on low salt or have issues with blood pressure are really worried about salt.
Yeah.
And with good reason. What you want to do is you want to beware of fast food and other things that have much higher concentrations of salt. You can use salt in your cooking, just go easy. And this is not a lot of salt. And what it does is it really turns up the amplifier on the flavor. And it's a great technique for making flavor. And you just do it the night before. And that's it. You don't have to worry about the big buckets and you're not wasting apple cider and garlic and pepper. And if you want to put those on, I like to use an herbal rub. I call it my Simon and Garfunkel rub. It's parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, a little garlic, a little ground black pepper. I've got the recipe on the website, and I like to get it under the skin. And if you're spatchcocking, it's really easy to work your hand under the skin. Yep. I mix it with a little olive oil or something, get it up under the skin. You mix it with butter if you want, get it up under the skin. No problemo. Couple of other quick things I wanted to touch on before we run out of time.
Yep.
You can inject. Now, you want to watch and make sure that you don't have a turkey that is labeled enhanced,
right?
Which is trade talk for it's already been injected with salt. Kosher turkeys have been treated with salt. I list all the verbiage on my turkey recipe page that you might find. But if you have an unenhanced, unadulterated turkey, you want to get some salt onto and in it. And what you can do, and this is fun, is you can butterball it. The original butterball was shot up with butter. You melt a little butter. You get a hypodermic, slide number 050, Greg.
Yeah, already on it.
There are a variety of them. You can get a really fancy stainless steel one or little plastic ones. And, now all of a sudden I'm seeing the pictures. God, it'd be great when the internet really works. And you can shoot them up with butter. Do this, if you can, the night before when you salt it so that the butter has a chance to work its way around a little bit. And that's a nice technique. Or you can shoot it up with a little saltwater solution, 6% brine. I have the recipe on my website, and it's pretty easy to do. One other thing that's really important to bring up, the food safety experts want us to not wash turkey and poultry.
Right.
And I have a rough time with this. It's just an old habit that I can't break. I feel like it's covered with bacteria and it's slimy and I got to wash it off. But they have demonstrated, people at Drexel University in Philadelphia in particular, there's a scientist there, Jennifer Quinlan, she's got a cool video that we've run on our website. What she's telling you is you have to assume that modern poultry has salmonella and campylobacteria on it. It's just a fact of life. I'm sorry. It all dies when you cook. It dies. It's not going to affect flavor. But the way they grow the birds and the way they process them now, you just have to assume it's contaminated. And if you're washing it, you're not seeing it, but you're aerosolizing the bad guys that are on the surface. It spatters, it gets on the sink, it gets on the dish train, it gets on your arms, it gets on your clothes, on your apron. You don't see it, and what you're actually doing is more harm than good. So the scientists want us to know, don't wash your poultry. It's a rough one for me, but I've finally broke myself of the habit.
Well, that's most important. I mean, break the habit. Start this year, break the habit. Don't put water on your turkey. Just get some paper towel and damp it off, and then you're done.
Yeah, if you want to do that's okay.
Right, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah. Another tip, slide 070, Greg.
All right. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
5, 7, here we go.
This is the back of a turkey. You got the wings and the legs there, where the backbone is. There are 2 little pectoral muscles that they call the turkey oysters. When you're carving the bird, make sure nobody sees you. You eat those.
Really?
Do not serve them to the company. They're too good to share with the heat.
Beat it, company. Wow.
These are they call them the oyster because they're really tender and juicy, and they're nestled in there. They're little pectoral muscles, I think, is what. And they're not pectorals. They're trapezius. They're off the back, right next to the spine. Somebody who's a bodybuilder out there will know what muscle those are, but they are really good.
Yeah.
And they're really tender and juicy, and you want to get those out and save them for yourself. And then finally, on serving the bird, on cutting the bird, slide 080, you want to not slice the meat off the breast while it's still on the carcass. That slices the meat with the grain, and that makes it a little chewier. You want to remove the whole breasts. Now, technically, it's one breast on a bird, but because you've got that keel bone down the middle, it comes off as 2 lobes. They look like...
Yes.
They're called lobes. They look like livers. 2 big lobes. Remove those. They're right on top of the rib cage. You just run the knife down along that keel bone on either side. Gently work. And I use a fishing fillet knife because it's got a flexible blade.
Yeah.
Instead of a big carving knife, I use a $19 Rapala 50 filleting knife, and I work it right down there and just pull it off the bone, and you get this big lobe, and then you slice them across the grain, and you can get everybody a nice slice of skin, and then if you pour gravy over it, the grain is running. In this picture, it would be running left to right, right to left. The gravy will soak in, and you get really nice slices that way.
I mean, that looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's a great
nice
picture. Meathead Goldwyn joining us here from AmazingRibs.com. If you have any other questions, concerns, comments about turkey, I mean, you're answering questions, right, Meathead? That's part of your deal.
Yeah, and in fact, I stay by the computer till about 2 o'clock. I'm cooking most of the morning. At 2 o'clock, I take my whole bird, stick it in a beer cooler, wrap it first with some foil. I know that makes the skin a little soft, and I head across town to my brother-in-law. But I make a point of being the meatball hotline, meathead hotline, and I stick by the computer until about 2 o'clock, and I field questions. And we also have a pretty bird contest on the website. I haven't picked the prizes yet, but they're usually cool prizes like thermopens. So take pictures of your turkey, post the pictures to my website, and compete for some really nice prizes. And I want to show you slide 020, Greg. That's what my bird looks like when I put it on the table.
Oh, look at this thing.
Isn't that nice?
Wow. Great picture.
I leave the wings intact because there's always somebody who likes them. I leave the drumsticks intact. Sometimes you can actually carve it off the drumstick stick if you want, and the breast meat sliced up nice and neat. So it's sort of refabricated into a semi-bird-like form.
Yeah.
And I pour the gravy over the top of that, and it's a huge hit. And my brother-in-law Bill does it the old-fashioned way in the oven, and people love that. And then I have the smoked bird, and everybody takes a slice of each.
Sounds like a great time. Meathead Goldwyn is the creator of AmazingRibs.com. Looking for your questions, comments, and concerns at AmazingRibs.com. Meathead, as always, appreciate the time, and we will see you again in the second week of December, my friend.
You betcha, Greg. Always fun to be with you. I hope I've helped some folks out there. And if you have questions, come on down to AmazingRibs.com. There's a page on turkey. Leave your questions there, and I or my moderator team will be there to help.
There he is, Meathead Goldwyn, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing it strong as always. We are incredibly long on this segment as always. You can see we're already a couple minutes past the hour, but that's all right. We will catch up here in just a second. Let me talk to you quickly about Stephen DiFranco. That's right, as we were talking, rapidly coming to a close is 2014. If you have any questions, concerns, you want gift ideas, Stephen DiFranco is the place to go. StephenDiFranco.com is the website. 440-943-2700 is the phone number. Give Stephen a call. When you call, if somebody answers, it's not Stephen. Say, hey, I want to talk to Steve. When he answers, tell him you're a barbecue brother or sister. Tell him what you found at the website, StephenDiFranco.com. If you're local-ish around Cleveland, it's worth the drive. Right there on the corner of 91 and 84 in beautiful the business district of downtown Willoughby. Steve's there to help you. 440-943-2700. You know, get away from the Jareds and the Sterling Jewelers and the Rogers, the big box store pieces of crap that you see each and every time in the malls and all that stuff. You know, forget about that stuff. Deal with somebody who has your best interest at heart, isn't going to try and sell you this or sell you that or, you know, whatever the case may be. He's here to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need on budget. Not looking to put commissionable dollars in his pocket. Steve's going to ask you a bunch of questions, wants to make sure that he's fitting your expectation, making sure that you're conveying that emotion that you're hoping to with the loved one. But he's not going to be trying to talk you up and talk you out of stuff that you might have your eye on. So you go to the website, StephenDiFranco.com. You call him, 440-943-2700. You tell him you're a friend of the show, and boom, it's off and running. Don't forget, everything pretty much ships for free. Lots of extra warranties and stuff that you wouldn't normally get with anybody else. That's why I deal with Stephen DiFranco all the time. Stephen DiFranco Jewelers, StephenDiFranco.com, 440-943-2700. We are back to wrap up the first hour and start the second hour quickly right after this.
This is Maddie Rempe from Cleveland, Ohio, and you're listening to BBQ Central.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the BBQ Central Show.
All right, we are back, and just like that, we will be rolling out for the first hour. Stick around, we will be right back.
Why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle. Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish, what?
He ate 54 wieners. Now listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. You found the Barbecue Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling. We broadcast live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. It is the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm the program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here for the second hour. If you want to jump in on the show tonight at some point, 216-220-0966 is the touch tone. Greg. Sorry, I was about to give you my work email address. You don't want that. Not unless you're looking to fly 50-passenger regional jets. You don't want that. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com is the email address. You can find replays of the show on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com, on the iTunes, Outdoor Cooking Channel, Roku, all that good stuff. Make a Facebook post right now, folks, if you're listening to the show. Let everybody know the show's out, ladies and gentlemen. 1 hour to go. Chad Ward still coming up on the show tonight. Don't forget this portion of the show is brought to you by CookinPellets.com, your number one source for quality wood pellets for all of your pellet-driven cookers. Not going to void any warranty, so don't hem and haw and worry about all that other crap. I mean, forget about it. If you are dealing with a pellet-driven cooker right now that requires that you use only their wood pellets runaway,
Get that big stuff out of here.
if you are somehow under a mandate that your pellet-driven cooker has to use the only manufacturer's pellets that they provide, that is crazy town. Check the augers, question everything at hand. Do not buy it.
Get that big stuff out of here.
There's a lot of pellet manufacturers out there. None better, of course, than Chris Becker and the good folks over at CookinPellets.com. They're not going to void any warranties. I mean, come on, don't fall for it. Don't run amok. Or better yet, if you have a problem, if you buy somebody else's pellets and your cooker breaks because it has nothing to do with the pellets, just say, yeah, I was using your stuff. Yeah, what the F? What are you doing to my stuff? You know, I wish I had the time to talk about the item that I would like to talk about, except we ran incredibly long with Meathead Goldwyn from AmazingRibs.com, but well worth it. But my question to you, what is... Whoa, what? Back to safety. All right, sir. John Dawson sent me a bad article. I was getting fish. What is the McRib made of? New McDonald's video shows how they make the boneless preformed patty. Oh, no.
Get that big stuff out of
Oh,
here.
no. Anything but that. Linked to packaged foam gray IKEA furniture. The McDonald's McRib patty came under scrutiny last year after one of the photographed on the production line minus sauce and pickles. By the way, when was the last time you ever had ribs and pickles? Never.
Get that big stuff out of here.
But now the fast food giant is hoping to get lovin' its seasonal treat again by showing exactly how the boneless preformed morsel is made. A new behind-the-scenes video takes viewers inside the Lopez Foods production facility in Oklahoma City, where giant chunks of pork are ground down, no packaging foam in sight. 100% cut meat. The video is part of a focused marketing campaign that McDonald's recently launched in the U.S. to shed light on its own criticized food sourcing and product methods. Let me see if I can't get this up and running. Hold on. You know I'm going to find it for you.
Please choose a sponsored video. Your content will begin shortly.
God. Why do I have to choose a damn sponsored video? I don't want to see Russell Wilson. So ridiculous.
Get that big stuff out of here.
How much time left to it? 18 seconds. Oh, my God. I don't think Russell Wilson is worried about the Braun shaver. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. As soon as this is done, I'm sparing you the shaving video that I'm watching just right here. Wow. Give me a break. Ugh. Good, sweet Mike. All right, here we go.
My name is Wes Bellamy. I'm from Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm a teacher at Albemarle High School. I'm also the executive director of a nonprofit entitled Hype, helping young people evolve. Right now, I'm in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, a place I've never been before. And McDonald's brought me here because of a tweet that they saw. Someone sent me a picture of what I thought was a McRib, and I put wow with a bunch of O's and W's, and that looked disgusting. And I was encouraging everyone to never eat anything from McDonald's again, so I think
me too.
you all want to bring me here so that I can actually see how the McRib is made and see if my mind can be changed a little bit. I don't know, though. I'm a skeptic.
Yeah, right.
I'm Grant Imahara. McDonald's knows you have a lot of questions about their food, so they've asked me to help you find the answers.
And who are you?
Hey, are you Wes?
I'm Wes. Are you Grant?
I am Grant.
Nice to meet you, man.
Are you ready to get to the bottom of the McRib?
Let's find out what's really in that stuff.
All right.
Grant.
What's
P.S. Grant has the best tie ever.
Hello, Kevin Hankey. Nice to meet you.
What do we have here?
We have a boneless pork picnic, which is the main ingredient in the McDonald's McRib patty.
This looks a lot different from a picture that I saw on Twitter. So this is the good stuff.
This is what we purchase and bring in the facility to create the McRib.
Well, I'm anxious to see what happens next.
Yeah. Very good.
All right, cool.
Let's check it out.
All right.
So where are we headed now?
So we're going to head and watch the pork be introduced into the process. Come on up. All right. This is the same cut of meat that we saw up in the kitchen earlier.
Have you ever seen this much meat before?
Never.
There's no bones.
No bones in
No
it.
gristle. It's all meat.
Wait, I don't know. Let me feel one of the pieces in the back. You know,
How would you
try to.
What do you know? What do you know what you're feeling, Grant? You don't know. Don't lie.
Let me get at the bottom one of these pieces. There's nothing in it. Hey, this is good. So this will be lifted up and go up there to get grinded?
Let's go take a look at that process.
Pork and the Gaylord, ladies and gentlemen. Gaylord
We're going to come
pork.
on this vantage point so we
Used
can
to be a
see the
former
entire
baseball
production
player.
floor.
Okay.
This is a great vantage point to survey your meat empire.
Every piece of meat that we're grinding and put it into the McRib process is visually inspected by highly trained individuals.
This seems pretty cool, I must admit.
Highly
This
trained
is not
individual.
like I thought it would be.
So, Kevin, I see there's a lot of things being mixed in there. What exactly is in there?
The
Seasoning.
only thing in a McRib patty is pork, water, salt, dextrose, which is a type of sugar, and preservatives, which are BHA, propylgalate, and citric acid.
What are the preservatives for?
The preservatives are used to lock in the flavor all the way into the restaurant.
Oh, so that's how barbecue.
We're following a recipe just like she does at home.
It's just like my grandma's barbecue. Hey, guess what, Grant? Time to get a new grandma.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
No offense to your grandma. Oh, great. I just screw up the whole video? Come on. Come on. Oh, no. Come on. What did I do? Oh. Whatever, Grant. You're crazy. P.S. I'm not kidding. Time to get a new grandmother. Folks, if you didn't know by now, Big Poppa Smokers is the one-stop shop for anyone interested in barbecue, featuring a comprehensive selection of all American-made grills, spices, sauces, accessories, even a kit that gives you everything you need to make a world-class smoker out of a 55-gallon drum. Big Poppa Smokers has made a name for itself by making an award-winning line of championship rubs. The rubs have won almost every major competition barbecue event, including the 2012 and 2013 World Series of Barbecue in Kansas City, the 2012 and 14 Jack Daniels Invitational, the 2013 Kingsford Challenge, 2014 Houston Livestock and Rodeo, and many more to come. BPS also banded together with fellow California-based barbecue rub company Simply Marvelous Barbecue to form what has now become known as the West Coast Offense. Defying conventional wisdom, these two California-based rub makers have cornered the market on competitive barbecue and begun to redefine the flavor profile that competitive cooks from across the country have begun to aim for. They've even created two of their own unique competitions, King of the Smoker, which brings the best of the best in the barbecue world head-to-head in a back-to-basics competition. King of the Smoker unique in the fact that contestants may not use any electrical devices such as pellet cookers or pit minders. Contestants are just allowed to use charcoal, wood, and their wits to win one of the most high-stake barbecue competitions around. The other competition that BPS has started is known as the Guinea Pig, which is a cost-controlled competition that helps to bring in newcomers to the competitive barbecue world. It also features prize distribution all the way down to 10th place in each category, which helps provide incentive to get new competitors into the barbecue world. On top of all of that, Big Poppa Smokers created the unique brand ambassador program called the BPS Elite Team, featuring 15 of the best competition teams in the country, working together to promote camaraderie, competition barbecue, and to benefit children's charities across the U.S. Keep in mind that Big Poppa Smokers has been able to do all this with only 4 years of being in business, turning the competition barbecue world on its head, creating their own unique competition. becoming a staple of a nationwide barbecue restaurant chain, and benefiting children's charities across the U.S. Just the beginning for Big Poppa Smokers. Of course, the website, bigpoppasmokers.com. That's bigpoppasmokers.com. Chad Ward from Whiskey Bent BBQ right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back, 216-220-0966. Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. Those are your 2 bits of contact information if you want to find out anything else about the show, the BBQCentralShow.com. You can visit my next guest on site, online, in superstores across the TV globe. He's a championship award-winning pitmaster, barbecue entrepreneur, you name it, he's done it. Oh, he hosts his own barbecue show, by the way, 2 hours before this one. Let's go ahead and race over and welcome Chad Ward to the show from Whiskey Bent BBQ.
Hey.
Chadley, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Greg? How's it going tonight?
Man, Chad, it sounds like a freaking party and a half. What is happening over there?
Dude, it's Tuesday night. I'm in Vegas getting ready for the World Food Championship,
Tuesday,
man.
baby. Yeah, way to bring it, Chad. I see you working. All right, so, Chad, a lot of things that I want to get with you at tonight, a number of things. First and foremost, you've had some pretty good, I guess, competition weeks. You've had a grand championship here in the last couple weeks. You've won a category in the Laughlin, Nevada event, which took place, roughly a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess you could say. How are things on the competition side going for Whiskey Bent BBQ this year?
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg. It's been good. We had a little bit of lull here the last couple of months. We finished strong kind of at the beginning of the summer, and we've done a ton of practicing cooking through the summer, which is something I really hadn't done a lot of in the past. Shame on me. And we came into, October and first contest out, we won a grand championship, the FPA in Mulberry. And then to go out to, a Ronnie Cates event where, all the players are going to play and to get a first place rib, we were elated, man.
Chad, let me ask you something. You're talking about where all the players play. Certainly no bigger player at the moment, no hotter cook or team at the moment than Darren Worth of Iowa Smoky D's, who wins the Jack Daniels, turns around, then wins again Laughlin. Has talked about, a number of other things and having a great year again. He's been doing it 12, 13 years. Somebody who's in the competition world as you are, newish compared to Darren. How do you view what he's doing this year, especially here over the last 2-3 weeks?
I think it's something epic. To me, I compare it almost to what Tucky did last year, with the Royal, and then turn around and winning the Jack. To look at what Darren does, they have the restaurants, but they're still out running a hell of a schedule. And to win the Jack and then, fly cross country, get this house in Arizona by himself, didn't have Sherry with him, and pull down there and take, overall grand, it's amazing. The guy's a heck of a cook and an even better guy. Got to spend a lot of time with him. And I'm probably going to polish him up here a little bit because I think he may have some videos from the post celebrations on Saturday night, if you will. So Darren Worth is my number one barbecue guy forever.
Beauty. Yeah, he's a classic. Great guy. Let me ask you something, Chad.
But you know what I find is kind of unique about Darren, too, is he's never that guy that, when you see him at a contest, he's always smiling, he's always loosey-goosey. He's not a guy that's intense, locks himself in his trailer or his 10x10. He's out there having a good time, but what he's doing with flavors, and obviously, he's cooking everything on point every time, he's got the playbook.
Chad, as somebody who is out there, that does the competition scene like you do, when you see him able to pull off cooks as he is, what do you look at as far as, what is he doing that I might be able to implement, or what do you think, I guess maybe a better question is, what do you think that he is doing now that is setting him apart to stand out right now?
Well, Greg, if I knew what he was doing,
yeah,
I would share it on the show.
Yeah, right, ladies.
Because I mean, we're all about boning up the centralites with as much information as possible. I couldn't tell you what it is, but obviously it's something that's differentiating his food because not only does he go, Ronnie Cakes flies in certified judges from all over the country. So to win that contest, it means you have a flavor profile that pleases all palates, right?
Yep.
And then at the Jack, you've got the certified judges, but you've also got that little bit of celebrity judge crapshoot. But they liked his flavor, they liked his tenderness. So obviously, whatever he's doing and the program they're running, he wants to write it down on a sheet of paper and drop it somewhere in my proximity. I'd love to have it.
One of the things that I heard, because I did have Darren, I also had Mike Richter, who was grand champion, who had won Southern Ohio the week before as well, both cooking their asses off currently, having great years, is they both seem to notice a noticeable presence of cooks in the judges' tent, where perhaps in years past, especially, and obviously we're talking about the Jack here, but in years past you had seen bloggers and celebrities and cooks that you would see on television, normal people that you wouldn't see in the judges, or that you wouldn't see in a normal judges' tent weekend out. When you see, as a competitor like yourself, Chad, if you go into an event like a Jack and you see a lot of your own in the judges' tent, does that give you a little bit more confidence, do you think, when you're cooking, that you can stay and stick with your own flavor profiles that you would normally?
I think so. I think it does, Greg, because, you sit there and hey, these guys have walked, a mile in my shoes. They understand, what it's about, what flavors we're all cooking towards, roundabout. Nobody's cooking exactly the same flavors, but people know what you're going for. So I think, when you see more cooks in the judges' tent, I think it's good, especially, and that's nothing against certified judges or anybody like that. But I kind of get excited when I see more cook teams in the judges' tent because, they know what it's like. I think that's the type of judge that's willing to start at a 9 in KCBS and work down instead of, some judges that have never, picked up a spatula or a tong in their life or cooked a Wagyu brisket, that maybe they started at 7 and you got to earn it up. So no, I like the presence of more cook teams in the judges' tent.
Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ, is my guest. Chad, let me ask you one more thing about Darren here, then we'll move on to other things. As far as doing a Jack with his normal partner, Sherry, his wife, and then, as you said, rock starring out to Arizona, doing the cook himself, as someone who is used to cooking with a team, as you are with Whiskey Bent BBQ, what kind of a dynamic is it, maybe you've experienced it yourself, where you have a team normally, and then on any given weekend you're off kind of on your own and you're the guy? You got to do all the prep, you got to do all the cooking, you got to make sure all the flavor profiles are on point. Does it almost make you have to hone in more on what you're doing when you're by yourself than with a team?
Yes. I mean, to me, I don't think I've ever cooked a contest by myself. Now, my normal team's usually 2 to 5 guys. Now, I've cooked a lot of 2-guy contests, whether it be me and Jared, me and Matt, me and Timmy. But, yes, when you don't, like we cook, I will definitely say we cook our best when the most Whiskey Bent bodies are there because it's just another set or 2 of eyes that are looking at things. We can divvy up tasks better to where our focus is on certain things. So, yeah, for Dan and Sherry to cook together as long as they have, and obviously be in lockstep for him to, not have her out there at Ronnie Cake's Laughlin event, the USA Barbecue Championships, and still be able to pull off a grand championship. There's a lot to be said about that because, you do kind of fall into those habits when you have your team and your folks around you that when they're not there, it's like, well, it's either going to happen. I'm either going to do it or it's not going to get done.
Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ, my guest. Chad, let me ask you something. In regards to flavor profiles that you are seeing, you've competed out there in the Southeast. You've made your way across West this year. A lot of talk being bantered about with the big Poppa Smokers and the Steph Franklin Simply Marvelous barbecue rubs, better known as the West Coast offense. Is that something that you are seeing predominantly in a lot of teams anymore, or do you still see a lot of the same old guard with the smoking guns and the Blues Hog stuff? What are you seeing right now that's winning and people are using?
Well, I will tell you, a couple things that we have done is, for probably the second time in our career, and I love Bill Arnold to death. I think Bill is one of the best ambassadors for barbecue ever. We're running a Blues Hog free sauce. It's really down the middle. It's something that we're making ourselves, which is kind of cool. I always kind of went from the school of, hey, there's guys out there making sauces that are putting a lot more time and money into this than I am. Let's find what we think works. Combine a couple things, add our own spin or two, and go with it. But we kind of got in the meat lab this summer and started doing our own sauce, from scratch. And it seems to be everything we want it to be. It's kind of right down the middle. And we did a lot of that on the rub side. So we are using some commercial things, but for the first time, I would say we're probably using more of our own recipes and formulas from scratch than we ever have. And I think what it's allowing us to do is to have a little bit of a flavor profile that, whether we go to the West Coast, whether we stay down in the Southeast, obviously next year I plan on cooking probably the heaviest schedule I've cooked, somewhere around 26 to 32 contests. And in preparing for that, I really wanted to have something I think can score across the country, like all the great cooks do, like Tim Grant, like Darren, like Donnie Bray. Those guys jump state to state every week, and they're not changing their flavor profiles. They just have something that works across the country.
Chad, when you talk about cooking a 26 or a 32 contest schedule in 2015, do you see a mix of Florida Barbecue Association, obviously born and bred there in the Imperial Polk County as far as barbecue is concerned, but do you see a good mix of the two sanctioning bodies, or do you see predominantly one or the other?
First off, Greg, give yourself a timble or a woot or whatever you call that sound effect for mentioning the Imperial Polk County.
Come on. Cool on.
I appreciate that, baby.
Come on.
And I tell you, I think, let's say if we go 26 contests, my preference would be about, in looking at the schedule right now, 10 or 12 FBAs and the rest KCBS. Just because, one of the things for me with, I'm sure we'll talk about here in a bit, with the business, the smoker line, and some of those things, it's important for me to go out and see other folks in other parts of the country. And plus, personally, I just enjoy that. I really enjoy, I love my FBA brothers, and I always call myself an FBA cook. But I really enjoy getting out there, crossing new states off the list, meeting new people, and just kind of spreading the word.
Chad, is there any goal or intuition going into, obviously we're looking ahead to next year here. Maybe we shouldn't do that at this point, but you have teams in the FBA, Jim Elser and Sweet Smoke Q. You got Matt Barber and Hot Wachulas, and you have, the list goes on, Dana Hillis, and you have, any number of, Rub Bagby, of course. So we'll get to him here in a second with the sauce. But you have, let's say 15 top FBA cooks that seem to be vying for a team of the year each and every year here over the last 5, 6, 7 years. Pretty much ever since Kevin Bevington decided to get out of FBA and let other people win. Holla, Kevin.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you have Rub and you have all these other teams that I mentioned. Would you like to see Whiskey Bent BBQ vying for an FBA team of the year on top of doing some of the other KCBS stuff as well?
I have absolutely no desire in the current format to chase the FBA Team of the Year.
Really? Whoa!
Not at all. If the new board that's coming in next year, wants to look at something similar to the KCBS, where you take the top 10 contests, et cetera, that's something I would definitely entertain. But and that's to take nothing from Matt, Jim, Dana, Rub, any of those guys that have won Team of the Year since I've been around. But to me, I wouldn't be able to cook any KCBS, or maybe 1, 2, or 3 because you have to run that FBA circuit to even have a chance at Team of the Year. And not only do you have to run the circuit, you got to be cooking really well. So to me, I just don't have any desire to cook 28, 32 FBA contests. If I cook that many contests, I want to split it up. I want to see different parts of the country. I want to meet new people. So, yeah, I have absolutely, if I could say I have negative 10% desire to win FBA Team of the Year in the current format.
Wow. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ, joining us here on the show. All right, Chad, so fair enough as far as Team of the Year concerned is for FBA. Now, let me talk to you quickly about Rub, and specifically his sauce, which, I mean, I can't remember a sauce, barbecue sauce, that has hit the market and that has not only gotten legs and started to walk at a mild rate, this shit has gotten down and done Carl Lewis-style sprinting across competition circuits. From your perspective as a competitive cook and someone who doesn't really have a dog in the fight of barbecue sauce at this point, what do you think is winning for Rub? Why do you think his sauce is going over so well so quick?
Well, Rob Bagby has a kind of a mantra that, it's something that sticks in my mind from what he told me 7 years ago. And that is, I try to cook the best average barbecue, which means he tries to cook it. It's got to be perfectly cooked from a tenderness point of view, right? But his flavor profiles, he tries to keep right down the middle of the road. Not too sweet, not too spicy, not too savory, just a very good barbecue flavor. And I think Rub, paid homage to his own advice. And when you taste that Swamp Boys sauce, it's that. It's just a all-around good barbecue sauce. Plus, I mean, you don't cook 7 years and win 45, 50 grand championships and win pork at the Jack and those kind of things without knowing what scores. And I think Rub really put his best foot forward to take his sauce that he was winning with, put it in a bottle to where you don't have to dodge it. You don't have to do this. You can take it right out of the jar and do well with it. I mean, I'll go ahead and let the plug out right now. I mean, first place ribs last week in Laughlin, right out of the bottle. Out of the bottle, into a pot, heat it up on the smoker, right on the ribs, done.
No way.
Yep.
Wow. This is like, you're not the only one that said this here over the last couple of weeks. It's stuff that you don't have to doctor. You can put right out of the bottle, and boom, you're going to be potential. Well, assuming you're doing your part on the cooking process,
sure.
This is going to really help you reap the rewards at the end process.
Yeah, no. I mean, Rub's done a great job. It is a really, really solid sauce.
Chad Ward joining me here on the show. Chad, I hate to even impress that I might be able to try and hold you over for another segment, but are you willing to hold over for 7-8 minutes?
Actually, you know what, Greg? I think we're going to do it because I'm sitting here at the D in Vegas. The bartender just said, "Are you on the Greg Rempe Barbecue Radio Show?" I said, "Yes." He's comping me a double whiskey. So,
all right.
You pay for your time. I'm going to hand this bartender a nice hefty tip.
Yep.
And I'm going to get a double whiskey, and we'll go from here.
All right. Fair enough. Chad Ward, gracious to hang with me through another segment here. I'm going to talk to you quickly about Fast Eddie's by Cookshack, a pellet grill that is a smoker and a grill all-in-one. It's stainless steel, 100% wood-burning, pellet-fired cooker that uses direct and indirect heat up to 800 degrees. It's the only pellet grill on the market that uses charbroil technology. It features electronically controlled temperature to eliminate large heat fluctuations that drink and try meat. A pellet grill can barbecue, grill, bake, roast, sear, smoke. Cookshack has 2 models of pellet grills to choose from. The PG-1000 features a fully insulated, double-walled roll hood for superior heat retention, fuel savings, and maximum cooking performance. Of the PG-500 features a 2-way swing lid and utensil holder. Now listen to me. The PG-500 and 1000 have many great features, including 784 square inches of cooking space, easy side-loading pellet hopper, fully automated wood pellet feeding system, stainless steel cooking grate on the direct zone side that produces killer sear marks, nickel-plated grills on the indirect and top rack, strip bucket, pellet ashtray, 100% stainless steel construction, warming drawer, 40 pounds of Cookshack hickory pellets, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's a versatile pellet cooker that adds full flavor to your recipes, including fajitas, ribs, chicken, steaks, desserts, sides, and large cuts of meat. It can do it all, including cold smoky. Grilling with wood pellets penetrates the food with an intense smoky flavor. Check that out. And when you cook with wood pellets, the fuel is consistent and the smoke more flavorful. For recipes and how-to videos, check out the Cookshack's YouTube channel. For more information, you can find their website devoted just to pellet grills at pelletcooker.com, or you can call them at 800-423-0698. That's 800-423-0698, or visit cookshack.com. That's Cookshack, proud sponsor of this show, and happy to have them. We're back here in just a few seconds with Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ Pitmaster. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Radio Network.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, welcome back, 216-220-0966, Greg at the BBQCentralShow.com. We rejoin Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ Pitmaster. Chad, thanks for hanging with me through the break there, buddy. Having some great times over there in the Las Vegas, Nevada. I mean, you've been out to Vegas a number of times, Chad. Where's the hang for the Pitmaster?
Yeah, I would say, I don't know. I mean, wherever we get together, as Pitmasters, I mean, I've had some of my best times, down there in front of the El Cortez with some of my FBA and KCBS buddies, talking to homeless folks and drinking a cold beer. Or, as my team member Jared Hatcher last year, we went down at the World Food Championships and put our meat on about 3 o'clock in the morning. And only time I've ever heard a guy walk in, tell a 83-year-old cocktail waitress, the El Cortez, let me get a hand of blackjack, a Bud Light, and a cup of coffee. That says, I think in Vegas, when us barbecue guys get together, we kind of find the party. But I like the downtown area. I'm partial to it. The glitz and the glamour of uptown Vegas doesn't do much for me, man. I like the little bit of dirt and grime, and maybe you see a couple people down on their luck. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, that must be the redneck cracker in you.
It could be. It could be. So that's just me kind of hanging with my people down there in downtown Vegas.
Chad, let me ask you something. You've seen some time recently over the last couple seasons with one Danielle Domofsky of DiFranco on the show Barbecue Crawl, which obviously is doing seismically well in Canada and doing just as equally well here in the United States of America. As someone who has seen the other side of that show being a guest, what do you like about Barbecue Crawl, and I guess what are some of the top experiences that you have had being a part of that show in some form or fashion?
I think the show, you got to start with the host. I mean, Danielle's a very, endearing person. She's one of those people that, she's just a really, really good person. And, I enjoy spending time with her. And, when I look at the show, what I think's good about it is it's something folks can relate to. In their travels, they can go try, barbecue at this joint. They get a look at what competitions are. They get to, do some character development and meet some new folks each episode. And to be invited to come back and do a second season or a second episode with Danielle during her third season, I was really excited. We went to Greenville, South Carolina, and we had a blast. And then, we got to spend some time together there in Laughlin. And then we'll also be together at the World Food Championships. So, and the other thing she has an outstanding crew. The crew, they've been with her since season 1. A lot of chemistry there. That they really know each other, when it comes to Angie, Emily, Andy, all the rest of the guys, and so I think that helps make a good show too. Having done a couple TV shows, if that crew's got chemistry, especially when it comes to the host and the talent, I think it just makes a lot better show overall.
Chad, you have, seen the show shot raw. You've seen the show as it finishes. In any reality TV show, how true does Barbecue Crawl hold to the raw versus what you see on a finished product on any night?
I will tell you right now, I mean, if I had to rate Barbecue Crawl from 1 to 10, 1 being, fabricated, 10 being as real as it gets, I got to give it a 9.8 or 9.9.
Wow.
And and the reason I say that is, just because, you flub a word or something, they may say, hey, Jack, can you say that again? And after a couple of whiskeys, Greg, I've been known to flub a word or two. So, yeah, if they ask you to re-say something, no big deal. So that's the only reason I'm knocking the 10th or 2/10 of the point on the reality factor. But, no, I mean, it's really, having been part of it, being part of being part of the real footage and then seeing what it gets cut down to in the show, they are definitely, excuse my 90s reference, but they keeping it real, Greg.
So here's the thing, right? Few people have, there's a lot of people that have probably seen the show and they see Danielle be Danielle on the show. And they've never met her in person. They've never had the opportunity to chat with her, interact with her on barbecue forums, through the internet, or what have you. I have, as I've said before in many conversations that I've had with Danielle, we kind of came up at the same time. She had a true vision on what she wanted to do, and she's there. She's accomplishing everything that she wants to. But I think the important thing is to mention, as far as Barbecue Crawl is, what you see with Danielle on the camera, she is the exact same person that you would find at a bar somewhere else with no cameras around that you find on that camera, right?
Absolutely. A lot of just very genuine, and you're right. She doesn't put on or act different in front of the cameras. She's always been one of those people that what you see is what you get. If you like it, great. If you don't, you're entitled to your opinion. And I think people like that, they sell when it comes, because, that's what people want. People don't want, someone that's one face on camera and another face off person. I mean, that's not cool. But at the same time, when you talk about something like that, let's talk about, Myron Mixon. I had the chance to hang out with him and Michael a little bit at the Pig Jig this past weekend. And, Myron, from that point of view on TV, comes off as a bit of the hard ass and this and that. I'll tell you what, man, I saw a line of 100 people at the Pig Jig this past weekend. Myron signed every autograph, took every picture, did everything, drank a couple of Crown Royals with the guy. He's a very genuine person. He just found a way to build a brand and build a presence on that show that he's been able to cash in on. So, to me, there's a couple different ways to look at it. But when it comes to Danielle, she's very true to who she is. And I think just knowing Danielle, closely as really good friends, I think if she was any other way, she wouldn't really be able to live with herself.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ, Pitmaster, joining us here on the show. Chad, let me ask you something. We're going to diverge here just for a second, so indulge me if you don't mind. You also, aside from the Pitmaster stuff, aside from doing the day job that I have as well, aside from all this other stuff that you have going in, you're now a barbecue business entrepreneur with the store. I'm assuming that's where the show is done from each and every week as well. How have you found, the Whiskey Bent BBQ store, and from open to where you're at today? Has it met expectation? Has it exceeded expectation? What's it like to be in the business of barbecue?
Greg, Whiskey Bent BBQ Supply was started last September, so we're about 13 months in, about 13 and a half months in.
Yep.
And we are about 35% ahead of our business plan, which is something I'm really surprised by. We decided we really wanted to focus on the brick and mortars the first 12 to 18 months of we have the online store. We're doing a brisk online business. But what you'll see in 2015 is we're really, really going to push the online business. We're going to go out and we're going to have 5 or 6 what we're going to call platinum sponsor teams. Guys that are real movers and shakers in the industry. We're going to have a line of gold level teams and a line of silver level teams. And we're going to really try to spread the word. But for me, it's been great. The brick and mortar store, I travel a lot to the day job, cook a lot of contests, but I love being able to, every time I can get in there, go in, talk to folks. And one thing I'll tell you that's amazing is in the little bit over a year that we've been open, we have an 85% customer return rate.
Wow.
People come in, buy something, they enjoy the service they get. And it's just not me. I got to thank my wife, Nicole. I got to thank Danny, Timmy, Griff, all the folks that work there also, because, I can't be there every second of every day, but they take such good care of the store and have such a pride and ownership in it that's what's really leading to our success.
What do you see as a store owner now? Products that are popular, or perhaps even products that you are being introduced to that maybe we don't have a beat on at the moment that you might think are going to be stars here in the upcoming future?
Well, I will tell you, the one thing I've learned from a smoker point of view, that Big Green Egg, man, they have done such a good job of product quality and marketing that it sells itself. I'm so glad when we were deciding what ceramic cooker we were going to carry that we decided to become a Big Green Egg dealer. They're kind of cultish, if you will, but love all of our Big Green Egg customers. When it comes to product, we were talking about Bill Arnold and Blues Hog earlier. One thing I believe when we started Whiskey Bent BBQ Supply is I'm not going to ask you to hand over your hard-earned ducats without you being able to taste the sauce and the rub. So every rub that's for sale in our store, there's an open sample. Every sauce that's available in our store, there's an open sample. And I'll tell you what, anybody that takes a sample of Blues Hog Original, I don't think I've ever had somebody taste Blues Hog and not buy at least a pint of it.
Really?
Yeah, and I'll tell you another sauce like that really sells once people taste it, and that's Craig's sauce.
Yeah.
Craig Sherry there out of Texas.
So good.
People, yeah.
So good.
Oh, dude. I have at least 6 households that come in and buy a gallon about every 3 months because it's the only thing their kids will eat with their chicken nuggets or their chicken tenders.
Maybe
cool.
Maybe I'm diverging here just a little bit, but Craig Sherry is like one of the most recognized / unrecognized stars of the barbecue industry with his products, starting out with the Texas pepper jellies. But, oh, wait, hold on a second. Aside from great products, this guy could cook you under the table in KCBS and the IBC. He's crazy.
The guy he qualified for the Jack in March of this year?
Yeah, crazy.
With 7 wins?
Yeah. He is an absolute star on the Pitmaster circuit, but his products are second to none.
No,
He's so good.
I completely agree. And, and personally, me and Craig have always had a great relationship. He was the second sponsor I ever had after I won my first Grand Championship. I sent him an email, told him I was using, 3 of his rib candy products. And when I started the store, PO number 2 was sent to Craig Sherry. PO number 1 was sent to Ethereum over at Cosmos, because those are 2 guys that, from when I got started that had supported me, and when I decided to become more of a barbecue entrepreneur, I've got to support them. But no, Craig's products are great. Another one that we brought in the store here recently over the last 3 or 4 months is Chris Capel's Busy Pick products.
Yeah.
And while they're a little higher price point, what I am finding is once people taste them and once people understand the quality and the all-natural flavors, that's what they want to go with, what they have to go with.
Chris Capel's products have been out since before I even got into barbecue hosting of any form or fashion. 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. These are tried and true products.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying for us, in opening the store, I was a little worried about the price point.
Yeah.
But bringing it in and bringing in the full line of Busy Pick products, one of the best decisions we've made, because one thing that I try to do is I try to bring in 3 new brands every month.
Wow.
Things that move well, we're obviously going to keep on the shelf and expand shelf space. Things that don't move so well, maybe they kind of, fade off. But we're trying to bring in 3 new brands at least every month.
Chad, you're at Las Vegas right now. You're gearing up for the World Food Championships. This thing has grown by leaps and bounds each and every year of its existence. What are you expecting for World Food Championships this year?
I'm expecting it's going to be a large time. I think we're probably going to see more. They had to cap the barbecue field because of the size of the space. But I think in the ancillaries, the other categories, we're going to see record turnout. And I think it's going to be an all-around good time. And I'm super stoked that next year the World Food Championship is going to be in my backyard over in Kissimmee, Florida.
Absolutely. Boom. Let me ask you something. Do you see a almost all barbecue finale like you saw last year?
I think so, Greg, just because, first off, there's so many contests you can show up at, and, if you do the anything but that's dessert, or that's bacon, that's a bacon qualifier. If you do the dessert, that's a dessert qualifier. Obviously, if you win the barbecue contest, that's a barbecue qualifier. So I just think power in numbers, there's more barbecue guys getting a chance to qualify for the World Foods. So, yeah, I would not be surprised to see 2 or 3 barbecue guys at that final table this year.
In the end, would it be justification? I mean, it came so close last year to having the barbecue segment of the World Food Championships win. And obviously there was a little controversy that surrounded it as far as wait times and so on and so forth. But do you think that this year the actual barbecue segment pushes over the top and wins World Food Championships?
I do. I really think so, because I think here's the one thing I look at, Greg. Look at all those other segments. None of them compete as regularly as we do. I mean, the teams that are out there at the World Foods are teams that are at least cooking 10 times a year, probably. So I don't think, Seafood Susie is down there, cooking the salmon roundup down the street 10, 12 times a year. So I just think as barbecue competitors, it's in our blood to line up across the table from somebody and try to just outcook them. So, no, I think this is the year that we won't lose to a cupcake, a carrot cake, a cheesecake. I think this is the year for barbecue to shine.
Chad Ward is the pitmaster of Whiskey Bent BBQ, the owner of Whiskey Bent BBQ Supply. Chad, do you have a website for the supply store?
Of course I do, Greg. I would be irresponsible if I didn't.
All right,
Folks
go ahead.
Go over to whiskeyBentBBQSupply.com. Check it out. If I can, I will try to get a promo code up by tomorrow. Anybody that goes on with the promo code The Great Rempy, REMPE, The Great Rempy, is going to get 10% off through, let's just say next the end of my show next Tuesday.
All right, end of your show next Tuesday, so a week, more or less a week from now.
Yes.
The Great Rempy, TheGreatRempe, The Great Rempy. You get 10% off anything that you get at Whiskey Bent BBQ Supply Store, which is fun and fantabulous. Always appreciate the discounts. Central Lights love anything that you can get a discount because they're cheap bastards, as you know, Chad. Chad,
hey, man,
yeah.
Dude, the Centralites are still living like it we're in the 2008 recession. I can dig that.
That's right.
I can dig that.
That's right. No doubt about it. Chad, good luck in Vegas. We'll hope to get a recap from you. And as always, continued success. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Hey, and Greg, one last thing.
Yep.
Thank you so much for convincing me to come over to the OutdoorCookingChannel.com. I'm having a ball with the show over there. I love the video. I'm getting all kinds of comments on the quality.
Yep.
Thanks to Kevin Bevington for giving both of us this great format. Yep. But thanks again, brother. Always good to talk to you, Greg.
All right, man. There he is, Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ, getting ready to try his hand over at the World Food Championships this weekend. He's locked and loaded, man. Yeah, man, yeah. All right. Chad Ward, Whiskey Bent BBQ. A lot of different things that you can react to. Love to get your reactions through email and so forth. He thinks that this is the year that the barbecue segment of the World Food Championships is actually going to push over and take it all. I don't necessarily not agree with that. I think he's right on the money on that. Very close last year, again, amidst a little bit of controversy, depending on who you ask, for wait times and so forth. That would have been Pitmaker that would have won that last year. But instead it was Carrot Cake, who was also, I think you had 3 or 4 or 3 out of the 5 people that were in the finals in World Food Championship last year actually being barbecue pit masters in some form or fashion. And then, of course, we had Meathead talking about all of the great turkey stuff, as he does in his second segment appearance every month. Let me close out here by saying I certainly appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. Appreciate you, especially you over there in the corner. I see you. Next week, got a great group of guests ready, lined up to go, so stay tuned for that. If you have raw cast iron, re-season it each and every time. After you get done cooking on it, do a little burn off, and then hit it with a grill brush, get the bits off, and then as it starts to cool down, right around 400 degrees, hit it with a little Pam, a little Crisco. Let it burn back in, give you generations of rust-free service. Trust me, I do it each and every time, and it has not looked any worse for the wearer 10 years later since I've had that Bubba keg with the cast iron with the cast iron grates that I got with that bad boy. Also, September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.